Welcome back everybody, I hope you're all fantastic. On today's video we are checking out the JupiterXTC plugin from DB Quadro. This is a little bit different. There's some super fun stuff on here that differentiates it from some of the other amp modeling plugins out there. The first thing that immediately struck me, and will probably strike you if you look at the screen capture that I've got here of the plugin, is that we don't have like a skeuomorphic picture of a guitar head. You've just got the controls on this modeled Bogner Ecstasy laid out so that they're easy to use as a plugin. You know, an amplifier head is pretty easy to use when you've got a physical amplifier head, but most plugins that show you a picture of an amp head with a giant logo and then tiny little knobs, it's a little bit annoying to click around on. So I immediately enjoy that all the controls are laid out easily to access. The other thing that is super interesting about this is rather than have, again, like a skeuomorphic IR loader where you can move a virtual mic around on a cabinet, you've got this power amp and cab section in here with just presets that you can click through. So the general idea is you kind of dial in one of the channels on the amp, you click through one of these presets, you find the one that you like and you have a good time. But the absolute icing on the cake for all the amp nerds out there is you can actually go in here and modify the virtual circuit in here. For example, if I go to the preamp tab and I drag this over, you can see they've actually got the schematic of different sections of the amp. So the different channels in here, you can go and have a look at the tone stack. You can change these values to whatever you like and essentially service your virtual amp. That is one thing that I think the digital domain makes so easy and so convenient, and it's awesome that they've included that. So we haven't even heard this yet, and there's a lot of features that I like from an ease of use and kind of amp nerd perspective, but I've got a DGT plugged into my Universal Audio Apollo. I've got JupiterXTC loaded up, no post-processing. Let's start out on channel 1. I'm actually going to use the tapped neck pickup on this guitar to get started. I'll just kind of dial in a sparkly little clean sound, then we'll move over to some filth on the other two channels. That feels pretty good under the fingers on here. We've got the option to add a boost and to change the pre-EQ, which I'm guessing is going to be different bright cap values in here. So I'll turn the boost on. We get some lovely grit happening on there. I can change between either a kind of non-bright cap, I'm guessing it's a bright cap again, or one of these two values. Let's just hear the two values side by side. I think I like the second one over there. Let's move over to channel 2 on here, and you can see they have the vintage and modern mode on here, and you've also got the plexi switch from the real amp. I'm just going to turn the volume up to start, and I'll back the gain control off. Let's just start now on the bridge pickup of this guitar. Vintage mode, I'll play around with the pre-EQ, and I'll switch to modern mode, and I'll let you hear plexi mode. blue channel with the modern mode and the boost on is where it is at for me over there. Let's go to the red channel now. I think I just like B2 for the pre-EQ on here across the board. So I'm going to start with that. Let's just have a listen to what happens on here. I do find with this one, kind of like any amp sim version of an Ecstasy or the Ecstasy module that I've got by Synergy, you do need to bring the treble up a little more than you expect, and then the depth and presence are pretty powerful on here as well, so we'll hear those. Let's start on vintage mode. That is over the top and ridiculous, so much gain. I think out of all of those, channel 2, the blue mode, like I said, with the modern mode, the bright switch on, a bit of boost, plenty of gain. I actually kind of like this one with the bass and mids, like everything up above noon. Let's just hear that again because that was doing it for me. Then we'll talk about this kind of power cab section over here and how it changes the overall tone. I mentioned at the start of the video that the overall layout of the plugin is pretty pleasant. Again, not going for a skeuomorphic amp style layout means they can make those knobs big, easy to turn, and really easy to differentiate on there, which I really appreciate on there. You've got everything from the amp modeled. It just doesn't look like the physical amp, which is fine because it's not a physical amp. It's a plugin. It's got to be easy to use as a plugin. The power cab section is really interesting because you can go through here and essentially just set up different power amp and cab presets. You can even get in there and tweak the post EQ on there for each of these power cab presets. So you've got quite a powerful post EQ section. I think this is one area where having these kind of sliders and this very, let's say, engineer looking layout, I'm not the biggest fan of that. I do generally like, give me just like a graphic EQ or a classic parametric EQ view on there. That's a little easier to use. But I'll just go through some of the factory ones because they do change what's going on quite a bit. I do like here as well that none of them are too extreme sounding and they're quite musical. They actually kind of sit kind of where I would normally set these things, which is pretty cool. I mean, I still have never played a real Bogner Ecstasy. I've got the Synergy module. I love the fractal models. There's a few other plugins that do it. I think I need to try one of these amps in the real world because every time I play one, I dig it. think number 1, number 6, and number 8 in there were my favorites, and you know, anything more than like 3 IRs is probably more than you ever need. I did mention at the start of the video you can get in and tweak the circuit. So let's say we want to tweak the preamp. I can come over here and let's go to the blue channel over here. We could play around with, say, like one of these capacitor values, which I'm guessing is going to be the bright cap over here. Just kind of play around with the value while I play and have a listen to what it does to the gain structure. Get in and change the tone stack on each of these. You can even get in, and for all the post stuff, you can get in and like change the filters on there. So I've been doing all of this raw for this video, but if I wanted to, you know, could tweak the high cut in here. I'm not the biggest fan of this kind of slider thing over here. It's a little awkward to use. I would prefer maybe a knob, or like I said, a parametric EQ style thing. So set that at, I don't know, like 7,500 Hertz, and we'll add a little bit of a low cut on there, and it should smooth everything out. We get this. I like that. Now, an Ecstasy is one of those amps that you often hear it in the context of it being like a really kind of fluid lead amp with some effects on it. So I'm going to give you an example right now. Let's take this blue channel. Let's crank the gain up even more. I'll add some more mids, back off the treble a little bit, and I'm going to add some delay from FabFilter Timeless, one of my favorite delay plugins. And we'll just have a listen to what that does on there. Super saturated on the red channel as well, and it's just glorious with some delay, as it should be. DB Quadro have an SLO theme plugin called Satin LO, and a few other kind of space meets classic guitar amp themed amplifiers as well. I'll put their website in the video description. Big thank you to DB Quadro for sponsoring this video and letting me check out some of their plugins. Most of them are on sale for €49 at the moment. So if you're looking for something that and most importantly, sounds really good, their stuff sounds great, but the subtle things that they've done, like the layout in the plugin and the ability to dive under the hood and tweak the amp parameters, I really appreciate, and I think a lot of people watching this will appreciate as well. It's not just hype marketing and then kind of a reskinned amp sim in there. It does give the user a lot of control, and it is one of the reasons I really like digital technology. There should be more plugins that give you this sort of control. in my opinion anyway. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I'm going to play some more on this red channel with the delay. Thanks for checking out the video. If you like what I'm doing, check the video description for ways to support my channel, and I'll see you all next time. Cheers!